Emma Frost is an absolute staple of the X-Men side of Marvel. Maybe she's not the most known character to everybody, but she shows up in everything, so she is pretty prolific. Cyclops being added to Marvel Rivals and Cosmic Invasion still got me in an X-Men mood, and it made me wonder, what is the deal with Emma Frost? I feel like I see her on a different side in every story she shows up in. Granted, this is coming from somebody who hasn't really consumed that many comics with her in them. Look, Hello Next is really an adaptation warrior, at my core and in my heart. But I love the character archetype of villain to ally so much, so we gotta show Emma Frost some love regardless. Going from Hellfire Club top dog to one of the leaders of the X-Men is a crazy journey. Emma Frost might really be like that. Shout out to what? I'm not calling her the White Queen. Emma Frost is a mutant who had the ability of telepathy, but unlocked her secondary and more powerful mutation with her diamond form. This right here is the shit we all recognize. We got too many telepaths already, and the diamond form is way more creative and interesting. When she's in her diamond form, she's literally... nothing can get through to her in this form. Not telepathy, not the punch dimension beams, not the entire destruction of Genosha, etc. Vibranium probably can though. I don't know about adamantium though. Although if one can, the other probably can too. Vibranium and adamantium are such cousin metals to me. These are like Marvel's indestructible metals. Although I guess there's also like Uru too, but like... that's that cosmic Asgardian shit. I do think it's really cool that she unlocked this power in a super stressful, damn near life-ending event. She 1,000,000% would not have survived Genosha being destroyed without this ability awakening in this moment. Back against the wall, high pressure, life or death type situations like this, leading to dormant powers awakening, feels like an appropriate way for a mutant to unlock another power. The way her diamond form looks in Rivals is fantastic too. I love that it's a temporary install that turns her into a literal fighting game character. Look at this grapple of doom! Put her in Tokon now! Look, I'm a fighting game warrior. Every chance I get, I'm gonna talk about fighting games. You see the X-Men vs. Streets in the background? Yes. I think she will make for great DLC on an X-Men team with Cyclops in there too, actually. It's gonna be so fun comparing everybody's rival designs to their Tokon designs. But yeah, Diamond Powers x Telepathy is definitely an interesting combo. Her not being able to use her telepathy in that form is a fantastic drawback though. She would be way too broken if she could just stack both. I've heard that her Diamond form blocks off literally all type of anything. So like, she can't use her telepathy, you can't use telepathy on her either, but like, also, she's completely emotionless in this form. So like, that diamond form protects her from everything, good and bad. So that's such a great drawback. It's like the ultimate protection. It's kind of like how in Smash Bros, that little metal assist trophy makes you literally just heavy as you're like damn near invincible. You can't jump that high, can't really do a lot of shit, but you're invincible. That's fantastic. Look, to me, a fire superpower does not equal broken. A fire superpower equals creative and interesting drawbacks. I love that. Like, yes, her being a diamond person is cooler to me than her just being another telepath, but she do look so fire wearing Cerebro in this panel though. That big ass X helmet is just always gonna be so cool to me. I've heard she be using her telepathic powers to do some genuinely sick, toxic shit. Dog, what is this? Granted, I think Scott knew what was going on maybe, which makes this even worse, dog. What is happening? Even Jean be wildin' too sometimes, dude. What is good with these telepaths? A telepathic villain is extra dangerous though. If not even your mind is secure, you're fried. Emma Frost was the head of the Hellfire Club with Sebastian Shaw, which is another group of evil mutants, but these guys are rich as hell and do freaky rich shit. They're straight up on some secret society conspiracy timing, dog. They showed up in X-Men 97, but it seemed like they kind of chilled out in this series. X-Men villains that are also mutants tend to end up being cool as hell, because they really are all united through being mutants and ultimately wanting better for mutants. Although, I don't know, the Hellfire Club seems a lot more like a small group of ultra rich motherfuckers at the top hold all the power here kind of thing. These ultra rich motherfuckers just also happen to be mutants. I feel like the way X-Men 97 adapted the Hellfire Club was just such a it was such a morally ambiguous way to define them. They weren't villains and they weren't heroes. They were just, here's another sect of mutants that also do shit on Genosha. Here are the heads of Genosha. I think they were the heads of Genosha, right? It's so crazy that we got an adaptation of Shaw and the Hellfire Club and X-Men First Class, and the only nigga that did anything was Shaw. Holy waste of a group. Like when I was a kid, I thought that they were just the pre-Brotherhood of Mutants. I thought that they were just the evil X-Men niggas, the evil mutants, which is like, for the sake of that movie, they were, but like, That's the Hellfire Club. They're like a whole different type of thing. But also that movie was still Hall of Fame, so I guess it worked out. Emma Frost is also the one that puts together the Hellfire Gala, if I'm not mistaken. And look, whenever the Hellfire Gala comes around, everybody throws straight fits. Oh my goodness. Holy sauce. She's a huge part of the Krakoa era, which is a run I really want to check out. It seems like this Krakoa era is like the modern X-Men story. And it's kind of a really fun upgrade to go from Mutant Mansion to Mutant Island. And they up now. I think Emma Frost was like a diplomat or something on Krakoa or something. I know she plays some kind of huge political role on top of being a leader of the X-Men. I know the era just ended in the comics, but I really hope they're not just back in the same ass mansion. They wouldn't do that, right? Marvel editorial wouldn't force these motherfuckers back into the same old status quo, right? Right? Also, I don't know why, but I always feel like Emma Frost is British, and then it turns out she's from Boston? What? Did I just placebo a British accent onto her this whole time? Yo, look at her and tell me she's not supposed to be British. She is a telepath though, so in theory, if she wanted, she could make everybody think she actually do got a British accent. Just cause. I wanna be British now. Now you're British. What? That's dangerous. Give these telekinesis or something. Except a lot of these telepaths do also have telekinesis. Why can they do everything with their mind? That's scary. But it's also a beautiful metaphor for how powerful the human mind is. So look, maybe I'm speaking too soon. Maybe I'm just hating. My bad. One aspect of her I really f with is her affinity for teaching and how she's been a teacher in every era of her life. Villain or not, she was a teacher pre-Hellfire Club, during her time with the Hellfire Club, then she taught on her own again, was a teacher in Genosha, and for the X-Men as well. Emma Frost is truly an educator. She has the soul of an educator. She's a very complicated person with a very complicated history, very complicated motivations. But at the end of the day, being a teacher and wanting to teach is the most altruistic shit ever. That's what makes her a hero in my head. Every nigga that want to be a teacher, for the most part, them niggas is heroes in my head. Look, them niggas is why you are the way you are, to some extent. Whether it's really tiny or really big part, your teachers have changed their life in some way. Maybe not always positive, maybe sometimes really positive. I ain't gonna lie, that's real life hero work. I think it's funny how most adult members of the main X-Men have kind of been thrust into the role of teacher, but for somebody like Emma Frost, it literally just comes natural to her. Like, wasn't Rogue the principal of the school semi-recently? Or did I make that up? I don't know, it just makes sense for somebody who's been a teacher her whole life to want to be head of the school for mutants. But yeah, with Emma Frost, just like all the greatest redemption arcs, it seems like hers has been rocky and not so linear. I'm always saying I want some fire adaptations of these stories, but I think it's just time for me to really read these stories. Granted, sometimes I do just want both, not gonna lie. I'm an animation glazer to the date of my casket, so I will without a doubt always want to see animated adaptations of these runs. It simply is what it is. Like, regardless of if I've read these actual stories or not, I still want adaptations of these comics. Her relationship with Cyclops is also a super important part of her character's journey too, and it kind of informs some of that non-linearness of her redemption. When Cyclops started tweaking and had his villain arc, she was right there with him. Although he was just straight up right, dog. All that non-violent, appease the bigots, Charles Xavier was simply never gonna work. Be for real. If they put Cyclops and Tokon, she gotta be there too. In the same way that Spidey and Black Cat have always been a more interesting couple to me than Spidey and MJ, Scott and Emma are just so much less cookie cutter than Scott and Jean. Shout out Jean Grey though. Maybe I just feel this way because Scott and Emma being together ain't the default. I'ma always be a fan of those relationships that aren't like the default, these two gotta be together type relationships. Give me the like, the not expected shit. You feel me? That's like the type of couple that I root for in a romance story. Give me the motherfuckers that you would not have initially expected to be together. Give me them. Give me those two. But so much of Emma Frost's arc with the X-Men is proving to them that they can trust her, right? And I love that Scott is the one that opens up his trust to her out of the whole team. And I also understand that like Jean not being alive is kind of a huge caveat for them being together. It feels like Jean has to not be in the picture for them to be together. But also maybe not, because they was doing some sneaky shit behind Jean back while Jean was alive. So look, I don't know. The X-Men are always gonna be the messiest group of like people in fiction, so there was no way that this relationship was gonna be that clean and like clear cut. No, nigga. There's always some type of soap opera ass shit going on, and I love to see it. She also married Tony Stark, but that was on some strategic spy family shit. But they low-key were actually feeling each other. On some Spy Family shit too. But Marvel Rivals is what really reignited her popularity. Goons aside, I love that she's the one putting the Hellfire Gala together in this game too. Like that season 2 trailer is her trailer for a reason. Krakoa is her map for a reason. Don't she got a statue in there too? I like her Rivals design too, but it's a lot of blue for a character called the what? I'm not calling her the White Queen, bro. I'm not, sorry. But regardless, Emma Frost is kind of a GOAT. She's not a character that I really appreciate all that much historically, but she is always 100% without fail a super interesting character and one of the most interesting characters on screen always. That's just like who she is. Emma Frost is a GOAT not because she's like morally the greatest person, not because she's like the greatest leader of all time. She might be, I don't know that much about her time as leader, but like she's a GOAT because she's so interesting. That's enough. That's fire enough. But yeah, shout out Emma Frost and shout out yo.
I can't feel my face right now, I'm burning up. I got this feeling that I won't come down like. Got this feeling that I won't come down like. Got this feeling that I won't come down.